Welcome student for the first part of our class 6th geography lesson number 3, globe, latitudes and longitudes. This is the first part of this lesson. Through this lesson we will be discussing about what is globe, then we'll be discussing about different type of latitudes, what is mean by latitudes, and afterwards we'll be discussing about longitudes in our part 2. So this will be the first part that we'll be discussing right now. So first we'll discuss what is a globe. Okay, so if you want to define globe, so globe can be defined as it is a miniature true model of the earth. Means it is looking similar to earth, so it can be called as a miniature true model of the earth. Okay, I hope you understood the definition. The next point is globes can be of various sizes and types. So sizes of the globe can be different, like there may be sizes of like a ball, small ball, which can easily be carried anywhere. Then it can be of a size of a balloon. So globes can be of a balloon size. Then it can be of a large size also. It can be large size which will not be easily carried out. So globes sizes are different. There are different types of globes also. The next thing is that what is shown on the globes. So what can be shown on the globes? We can show the countries. It can be shown that continents, different continents of the world. Then globe can show the oceans. So these things can be shown with the help of globe. Then globe can be moved around the needle from west to south. As the same, the earth moves. So it is very much similar to earth. Like earth is rotating, it's moving from west to east. The same way globe also is moving. It also can move like earth. So it gives us a feeling of real earth moving. So globe have this kind of feature. I hope you understood about the globe. Then next thing is that few things more about the globes. Like we can notice that a needle is fixed through the globe in tilted manner, which is called as its axis. So 2 points on the globe through which the needle passes are 2 poles, that are South Pole and North Pole. The globe can be moved around this needle from west to east, as I already told you. Another imaginary line running on the globe divide it into 2 equal parts. This line is known as equator. The northern half of the earth is also known as northern hemisphere, and the southern half is known as southern hemisphere. So they are both equal halves. Okay. Therefore the equator is an imaginary circular line and is a very important reference point to locate places on the earth. I hope. And then all parallel circles from the equator to the poles are called as parallel of latitudes. And latitudes are measured in degrees. So we can say the equator represents the 0 degree latitude, since the distance from the equator to the either of the pole is 1/4 of a circle round the earth. Okay, it will measure 1/4 of 360 degree, that is 90 degrees. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Then we'll be moving towards the next point, that is latitudes. So what are the latitudes? We can say as such parallels of north of the equator are called north latitudes. So latitudes are, we can say, horizontal lines. If you see the globe, if you are able to see those horizontal lines, they can be called as a latitude. So we can define as latitude, these are the horizontal lines which we can show or which can be seen on the globe. So this latitude divide the globe into northern and southern hemisphere. So in the center of our globe we have equator. And so what is equator? I have already told. Equator is an imaginary circular line. So from, if you go towards north side of the equator, there we can have northern hemisphere. And then if you are going from equator to south direction, so it will show southern hemisphere. So earth can be, or the globe can be divided into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So equator represent 0 degree latitudes. So from equator it is considered there is 0 degree latitude. Then latitude can be like north and south latitude. If we are going from equator towards north direction, so it will be called as north latitude. When we are going towards south from the equator, that can be called as a south latitude. Okay. Then next is, so here are some important parallel of latitudes. Okay. Beside the equator, north pole, that is 90 degree north, and the south pole, that is 90 degree south. There are 4 important parallels of latitude. So these are like, first is Tropic of Cancer. You can see 23.5 north degree in the northern hemisphere. And then we can see Tropic of Capricorn, that is 23.5 degrees south in the southern hemisphere. Then the third case is Arctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree north of the equator. You can see in the north of the equator, Arctic Circle is there. Then we have Antarctic Circle at 66.5 south of equator. So these are important, we can say, important parallels of latitude. Then we have certain zones, or what we call as a heat zones of the earth. So if you see the image, you can see there are some heat zones. So heat zones, we can say the midday sun is exactly over at least once a year on all latitudes, and that is found on between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. This area therefore receives the maximum heat and is called torrid zone. Why this area is called torrid zone? Because it receives lot of heat of the sun, because the sun rays are falling directly over on equator. So sun rays falls directly equator, so this area receives lot of heat. So this area is quite hot area. We can say this is a hot area, or it is called as a torrid zone. Then the midday sun never shines overhead on any latitude beyond the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, this you remember. Then the angles of the sun's rays goes decreasing when we are going towards the poles. So as such, the areas bounded by the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere, and the Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere have moderate temperature. So therefore this area is called as a temperate zone. So here temperate zone means where the intensity of the sun rays are slanting. It's getting slant as we are going towards the poles. It get slanting, but it is not that much slanting. We can say here is a moderate type of temperature. It is not very cool and it is not very hot also. So this is a temperate zone. Then we have the next type of zone, that is we can say frigid zone. So which is frigid zone? Areas between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere, and we can say Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere are very cold. Why it is cold? Because here the sun doesn't rise much above the horizon. Okay, and therefore the rays and are always slanting, and it provide less heat. So the heat is not provided. That's why this area become as a frigid zone. Okay, or it is very cold, as we can say it getting freezed, like water is getting freeze, and this that's why this area is known as a frigid zone. So I hope you have understood all the topics regarding latitudes and globes. So there are certain things about the globes that if we compare with maps, globe cannot be easily carried, they cannot be taken easily. So there are certain disadvantage of globe. So but as if you see the advantage, there are advantages also which help us in understanding the exact place of the different part of the words. Like we can find the where is the which country and from what degree we can it will be easy for us to know the directions. It will be easy for us to know the exact place of the countries on the globe. So it is quite helpful for us. Okay, I hope you must have understood all the points that I have discussed right now.